you let me speak into that? Will you let me save you? Sorry, guys, I'm a bit of a mess. How are you, lads? Father Columba here, coming at you from Limerick in Ireland, lovely Moyross. So this year, the theme is Pilgrims of Hope in the Jubilee year of 2025 into 2026. I hope you've been experiencing lots of grace. I certainly have, big time. I was thinking about the fact that Jesus is a pilgrim, and in a very real sense, he's depicted as a pilgrim very frequently in the scriptures. The church and Israel were a pilgrim people. We are a pilgrim people. We are on a journey. This is not our homeland. Heaven is our homeland. As St. Paul tells us, our citizenship is in heaven. That's where we're going. This is just kind of a tent. Even our body, yes, it will be glorified, but it's kind of our current, flesh is described by St. Paul as a tent, and that we're going to kind of trade it in for an upgrade, but a real body, glorified body. So even that, there's this sense of pilgrimage, that I'm journeying, this sense of the pilgrimage of holiness, of growth of holiness, growing closer to the Lord. Anyway, so Jesus comes. We see this in John chapter 1. It says that the word of God, Jesus, he came to his own, but his own did not receive him. But whoever who would receive him, he would give power to become children of God. There's this whole thing of the incarnation where God comes from heaven to the earth and we don't recognize him. Some people do. And the Gospels are this journey of people going from initial encounter all the way to some rejection and some going, you truly are the Son of God. You are the one sent from the Father. And in fact, you are God himself. We see this with St. Thomas right at the end of John's Gospel, where he makes the clearest profession of Jesus' divinity. He says, my Lord and my God. And Jesus says to him, no, Thomas, you weren't going too far. No, he doesn't. He doesn't say, he responds. He doesn't deny it at all. In fact, he affirms. So we go on this journey with him, yeah? The Gospels, you have a gospel. There's a gospel of you, just as there were for Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. That each one of us has this good news story about our encounter, initial encounter, first time, maybe as a kid or teenager, adult, whatever, when we first encountered the message of the gospel, we first somehow encountered God through hearing this message. Then there's this journey as veils are removed, and as we realize that this pilgrim who knocks at our door, this Jesus, this Word of God, he eventually comes, we let him in closer and closer into the house. And this is what he wants to do, but he's this constant, ridiculous gentleman where he knocks on the door constantly. He's always like asking, it's okay, like today all over again. Can I come in? Do you want to hang out today? Do you remember that when you were kids? Well, at least I do, from the 80s, the 90s. People would knock on your door and say, can he come out? It's a bit like Jesus doing that, like the little kid coming to your heart, knocking on the door of your heart. He says that in Revelation 3, right? Behold, I stand at the door and knock, and anyone who answers, I will come in with him and sit down and eat dinner with him. This ridiculously beautiful thing that God would say, that God would come to us. Oh my gosh, guys, seriously, God comes to us. We're supposed to go to him, surely. We're supposed to strive to be perfect and worthy and worthy of him and to give him worthy worship. And he goes, nah, actually, you can't do that. Tried that, failed that. So I'm going to come to you and you can say no. Oh my gosh. It's so beautiful. Like it's so beautiful. His humility is scandalously beautiful. Yeah, as one Muslim fellow I met on the street said, it is not befitting of his majesty. And I agree with that. It doesn't befit his majesty, but it befits his mercy because it's boundless. His kindness, his condescension is without limit. And so he comes to you. He comes to your heart and he knocks on your heart. He asks. Oh, you ask, Lord. You don't force. You don't manipulate. You ask. You propose. You ask us if we'd like to enter into the dance of the Trinity. The privilege, the honor, the love that he makes manifest to us, brothers and sisters, is crazy. And I think of St. Martha, Mary, and Lazarus in the town of Bethany, and they're described as his friends. When Lazarus dies, sorry, spoilers, guys. They say, your friend is sick, your friend has died, and it was so obvious to them that he loved Lazarus. So beautiful. God makes it obvious that he loves us. And anyway, that whole passage is it John 11? So beautiful. But when you look then at the there's certain ways you can read the last week of Jesus' life on earth is the week of the Passion. And that it seems that a number of the nights he walked out back to Bethany to stay with his friends, just to be there with them, to eat with them. And this is the story, like at his time of greatest need, rejection, pain, where did he want to be? He wanted to be with his friends. And they occupy this really interesting place because obviously there's the 12, there's his mother, there's the 72, there's this band of disciples following the 120 that are present in the upper room on the day of Pentecost. But then you have these others and they are so dear to him. And brothers and sisters, that's in the scriptures to let you know that you are also dear to him, that he'd love to spend time with you. Okay, so one last thought just to tie this up, because this comes into our everyday, not just in our prayer and realizing that every moment that in your prayer, God is really asking you, will you let me in today? Will you let me not just be your God, be your friend? Will you share your heart with me, your pains, your temptations with me? Will you let me speak into that? Will you let me save you? Sorry, guys, I'm a bit of a mess. Now, if you don't realize, this is me being extremely emotional. So one of my favorite priests who I've mentioned before, Monsignor Luigi Giussani, who's the founder of Communion and Liberation, he's got a couple of little quotes around this. I have to read it here because I'll get it wrong otherwise. This was kind of his method for kind of his spirituality. And he said, recognize that you are being generated and realize that you're experiencing the presence of Christ. This is about recognizing the many different ways that Jesus knocks on the door of your heart, because he doesn't always like kick or break down. It isn't always like this big spiritual experience or like clear consolation, but to keep an eye a little bit on your humanity. And he uses words generated. What does that mean? Engaging. What moves you? Is there something in your day that moves you? It could be even something simple. What are you grateful for today? Can I enter deeply into that and recognize actually there's something in the beauty of what I'm grateful for, not just in thinking about it afterwards, but actually in the moment. There's something of his presence in that. There's something, some way in which, and obviously guys, there's beautiful stuff happens to us all the time. And I don't want to over spiritualize everything, but yet there's something in it. There is a way in which that can be a doorway through which I can receive him if I have faith to believe, eyes to see and ears to hear. That in that moment, can I recognize in this moment, wow, this is really beautiful. I love that. Like yesterday, I had to prepare some talks, and it's interesting because it's like a Bible study talk, but it's just a standalone talk and it's Bible study. And I love doing Bible study. Getting into a passage, it was on a Psalm. I had all my Bibles, all my Bibles here, and I like lay them out all around me on my little desk. And I'm just, I'm looking at all these different meanings. And at a certain point, just my heart just gets overwhelmed. It almost freezes. There's so much goodness. Like there's so many beautiful words and insights, and I don't know which one to write first. I don't know where to start. It's like he's knocking on like 15 doors all at once to get in. And just to sit in that moment and to recognize him. It's like, oh, you're so good. Of course you can come in. Is there ways in which he's doing that for you today? There definitely is, guys. If we step out of our pessimism and our self-pity and our envy or whatever else, it might be your thing, your little block on your door, and the form that our fingers in our ears take, la, 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 oh, God hates me so much, la, la, la. I have to work hard to block him out, but I also have to work. There's a labor involved in being present and not missing his presence, because he is knocking at our door. Can you imagine he came all the way to Bethany on the last week of his life? He knocked on your door and you're like, la, 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 God, why do you hate me? La, 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 la. And just missed him just because we weren't aware and we weren't willing to do the work or whatever, I would not want that. And today is that day. Today is that day. And he's knocking at your heart in a million different ways, sometimes all at once. Can we just pause, recognize we're being moved, recognizing the sound of his voice, the knock of his finger, knock of his hand on the door, and to open up and say, of course, come on. And just enjoy him through gratitude. or through a moment of connection, a moment of turning your heart to him and saying hi, because that would mean the world to him. Bless you guys.